NFL Sunday is here. I have 2 player props, 1 spread pick coming your guys' way. It's the final day of the NFL regular season. I'll recap how our 2 Saturday picks did as well in next week's video when we talk about the playoffs. But if you're new, welcome aboard. My name's Austin from Calling a Shot. Do me a favor, go down below, hit that subscribe button, drop a like. Let me know your favorite pick for Sunday. It's going to be a weird slate because we have a lot of teams that don't care about these games, but I found 3 picks that I really like. If you ever need any sportsbook sign-up links, they're all down below in the description. Check them out. Dive into this first play. Kenneth Walker III. I like his over. 75.5 rushing yards, minus 115 on BetMGM. Now, you could probably play this up to 80.5, and I'm hopeful Mr. Walker goes over 100, because hint, hint, he's done that in the last 2 games. Now let's talk about him and the Seahawks. They're at home taking on the Rams. Must-win game for the Seahawks as they need to win this game. They need the Packers to lose on Sunday Night Football, and then they will make the playoffs. Now, obviously, they have to do the first part first as they play, and then obviously the Packers will play after them. But the Packers, they don't know how the outcome's going to go, so the Seahawks got to come out here and win this game. No surprise, see them as 6 or 7 point favorites, and if they are up in this game, the game script should help Mr. Kenneth Walker as they will be running it more. Now, why do I like him, though? It's because he's only, let's talk about him, 64 yards away from 1,000 on the year. 1,000's a cool milestone, especially for a rookie running back. I'm sure he wants to hit that. But also the last 2 games been very good. 107 and 133 rushing yards versus the Chiefs and Jets. The Chiefs, they lost by 14. The Jets, they blew them out. But look, the biggest part, 26 and 23 rushing attempts. If you tell me he can get up to 20 rushing attempts in this game, we should have a great chance of hitting this over. Now, even if the Seahawks are trailing in this game, don't anticipate the Rams blowing the door off and just absolutely blowing out the Seahawks team. When Kenneth Walker started to take over for Rashad Penny, he started to run the ball a lot. And on the year, he's over this in 5 of 6 games with 15 or more rushing attempts, recording 51, 97, 107, 109, 133, and 160 rushing yards. It's no surprise when you give the ball to him, he's going to get yards. And this is a guy with big play potential. He's been able to hit this over in almost 1 play. He has multiple 60-yard or longer runs, but it's not like we're just banking on him getting a big play where he's got no chance of hitting it. A couple weeks back, he only like a 20-yard long, but he had over 100 yards rushing. So he's certainly capable. The volume should be there. He's going to handle the majority of the backfield carries. They got DJ Dallas in there, but he's going to handle 80, 90% of the carries for Seattle, especially in a must-win game. This is the guy that they want to give the ball to. And we've seen people actually have success versus the Rams recently. We saw Austin Eckler rush for 122 yards on, I believe, 10 or 12 carries last week. Granted, he did the majority of the damage with 1 carry, but his teammates like Larry Rountree didn't have a great game, but Joshua Kelly rushed for over 5 yards per carry. And the week prior to that, we saw the Broncos. They kind of did a backfield by committee. They ran for a 97 yards on 18 carries. We saw Aaron Jones rush for 99 yards earlier this year, or Josh Jacobs 99, Aaron Jones 90. We saw Walker only rush for 36 yards versus LA earlier this year. Well, that was a game he only had 3 carries in. So we know a guy like Aaron Donald is out of this game. So this Rams defense is not as great as it used to be. And it's a Rams team that doesn't really care about the outcome of this game. The only thing they really got going for them is draft position. Well, they don't even have their first overall pick or their first round pick. And then obviously, really, they got nothing else. They're playing for pride and trying to eliminate the Seahawks. So look, 7 running backs have had 15 or more rush attempts versus the Rams this year. 4 of 7 hit the over. All 7 had 69 or more rushing yards. So even if, all of them are getting really close to this line, I think he sees well above 15 or more carries in a must-win game. I expect Kenneth to see that volume. Hopefully he breaks a long run or 2, but we don't necessarily need it. He can get 10, 15 yards on a couple carries, and he should get up to that. 76 rushing yards is all we need. I certainly think he can get more than that. If this line goes up, I don't see Kenneth landing in between any of the line movement. Hopefully he gets above 90 yards today. Now let's move on. I got my spread pick on the way, and then we'll talk about one more player prop and get on out of here. I'm going to go with the Patriots plus 7.5, currently minus 110 on DraftKings. Obviously, you prefer 7.5 than plus 7, which a couple books have. Sharper books are at 7.5, so I imagine by the game time, a lot of books will have 7.5. Now, feels bad betting against the Bills here. I mean, we know obviously the story about Damar Hamlin. All knock on wood, everything looks good as of the moment. He talked to the team, I believe, yesterday, or technically by the time you're watching this, he talked to him on Friday. But everything's looking good, and a lot of people are going to be betting the Bills, and I can't blame them. But this is a must-win game for the Patriots, so I'm going to ride with them. Now, I'm not saying the Patriots come out here and win this game, but it is tough for a team like the Bills to have a quick turnaround. Obviously, they played on Monday, so they don't have their normal rest and preparation. They didn't really play too much on Monday, but we know it's been a long, weird week for the Bills, and I'm not betting on against them because of what happened to Hamlin, but I think the Patriots have the capability to keep this game within 7 points, and I think this line should be more like 4.5 to 6.5, and not 7.5. I think that big change from 6 to 7.5 is where I'm on here. I mean, you look at the Patriots; they need this win. They win and they're in the playoffs. If they lose, they're going to need the Steelers and the Dolphins both to lose in order to make the postseason. So look, Patriots are going to play this one tough. We know Bill Belichick, one of the best coaches, especially when the game's on the line, the season's on the line. He's always had his teams ready to play. And sure, the Bills beat the Patriots 24-10 earlier this year. But it's tough to beat a divisional team 2 times in a row. We know the Patriots are as good as it gets. They played very well on the road, covering this +7.5 line in 7 straight road games. The only one they didn't cover was the first game of the year. We know they play tough against the AFC East. We know Bill Belichick will have his team prepared. I know Buffalo's still coming off. It's been a weird week for Buffalo. Don't know how prepared they will be for this week. They'll have a lot of heart, and they'll have the fans all on their side. I don't blame them if the Bills want to cover. Go for it. But and they can win. I just think the Patriots keep this game at least at 7.5. I think they keep it within a touchdown. So I'll ride with the Patriots +7.5. My final play of the NFL season will be a guy that I didn't think I would be saying as the final play of the NFL season, because it's Deshaun Watson. I like his over 205.5 passing yards, -115 on PointsBet. Now you can play this up to 210.5 if you want to. And I gotta be honest, Watson, tough matchups recently in terrible weather. Luckily, on this Sunday, he should get better weather, and the weather's kind of been the result as we've seen him go under in 3 straight games with 161, 135, and 169 passing yards. Now, look, last week, 9 completions, 18 pass attempts, yet he still managed 169 yards. And with the Browns eliminated from the playoffs, they have no chance of getting in. They can't win and have 900 teams lose. They're going to, I think, open up the playbook a little bit, see exactly what they got from Deshaun Watson. They don't need to run Nick Chubb into the ground. When they're trying to win, that's normally their game plan. But the Steelers' defense has been pretty decent at stopping the run, especially with TJ Watt back. This is a team they got to throw against. And the Steelers have had some really easy matchups versus, very run-heavy teams like they faced the Ravens. Or not the Ravens. They faced the actually, the Ravens are one of them. They faced the Falcons recently, the Colts. Even the Raiders they played recently. Those were very run-heavy teams. But you look at QBs with 15 or more pass attempts, which Deshaun Watson has thrown at least 15 times on Sunday. They've hit this over in 10 of 15 starts. Now the Steelers' defense has gotten better as of late. This is a must-win game for the Steelers. But I still do think we're going to see Deshaun Watson in this Cleveland Browns offense open up the playbook a little bit. He has way too many talented pass catchers. Amari Cooper has been doing his job, but Donovan Peoples-Jones hasn't been able to connect with him. David Njoku hasn't been able to connect with him. And I think all these guys are eventually going to get on track and on page, and I think they want to enter the offseason with at least some momentum. I know they're not going to make the postseason, but I at least can see Deshaun Watson play pretty well. And 206 yards for a guy as talented as Deshaun Watson feels like a steal. Now, you could ladder this if you want. We've seen Deshaun Watson throw for 276 against the Bengals a couple weeks back. Sure, he's under in 3 straight, a couple you don't really blame him a ton for as the wind and rainy conditions kind of got to him, but I just don't see the Browns run it into the ground. They obviously want to go out here and probably win this game, although I don't know if they really care, but they could eliminate the Steelers, send Mike Tomlin to his first ever losing season, at least losing record season. I know he's under in 3 straight. He's just too good of a player. The pass attempts should be there. His lines have not changed really at all from last week, despite completions being way under, pass attempts being way under, and yards being way under. I think he has a big day on Sunday. I know he's a hard guy to root for, given his past troubles. We're just going to root for him to get 206 passing yards. Hopefully he gets it done, and hopefully we can cash out, have a great week. So my 3 plays: Deshaun Watson over in passing yards. We're riding with the Patriots +7.5. We're going with Kenneth Walker III over in rushing yards. Hopefully we can go 3-0 to wrap up Week 18. Like I said, final week of the regular season. We'll be back for some more playoff games. I don't know exactly the playoff schedule, but you best believe there'll be more videos. Subscribe if you're new. Let's have a great Sunday, and I'll recap all of our picks in next week's video. I'm Austin, signing out. Peace out.